Hello friends, welcome to GS Core and let us start with the study of today's current affairs. Alright, so what we will be doing is we will be looking into a news item and we will understand the core concept with respect to the news item. Alright, and based on these two pieces of information, we will equip ourselves to solve MCQ questions. We will equip ourselves or skill ourselves to solve MCQ questions. Let us start with what are the important news items of the day. First and foremost, we will have to study Kallakkadal. They are a sort of waves formed due to storms. Then we have Wadge Bank, a marine territory. Demographic dividend, an important concept in economy and also one of the favorites of UPSC. Heatwave, again an important concept from the subject of ecology, very important. And then contempt of court. So these are important news items. Let us study them. All right, and before studying them now, we will look into why these items were in news. What was their focus? So Kallakkadal basically has caused floods in coastal Kerala. It has caused floods in coastal Kerala, hence in news. All right, what is it? What is the concept behind Kallakkadal? So first and foremost, they are considered to be rogue waves or freak waves, and they basically originate in distant oceans due to storms. They are basically massive and unpredictable. Because storms in a way are predictable, but the force that creates this particular waves, due to storms, it is unpredictable. Storms to a certain extent, as I told you, is predictable, but the way in which or the place in which such waves will be created and the force where generation of such waves will happen, that is unpredictable. And due to its unpredictability and immense force, what happens is these waves are responsible for marine accidents and coastal disasters, causing loss of life and loss of property, as has happened in Kerala. Forecasting these waves is very difficult. All right, it is very difficult. Hence, what we also have seen is their suddenness and basically our lack of preparedness. Okay. What we have though done is, in 2020, India installed swell surge forecast system. All right, what it will be doing is it will give prior notice with respect to generation of such waves. This particular system has been installed by Indian National Center for Oceanic Information Services. All right, I will repeat. Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. All right, so this is the information related to the rogue waves or freak waves. Now let us take up a sample question, and try to skill ourselves to solve it through the information that we have. Now consider, what is the question? Consider the following statements regarding Kallakkadal. These are massive waves formed by local winds and pre-monsoon gulls. Absolutely wrong. These are basically distant, not local. ठीक है, they are distant, not local. Their forecasting is easy due to prediction of intensity of local winds. Absolutely wrong. Again wrong. Prediction is difficult. Prediction is difficult due to two reasons. Force where the wind is generated. Forced where the wind is generated, that is difficult to be known, and second is they are distant, and because of that distance now prediction becomes difficult. We do not know the direction to which they will be traveling. Okay, which of the statements are correct? Both are incorrect na, so our answer will be D, neither one nor two. Moving on to the next news. Now this is with respect to Wadge Bank. All right, this is with respect to Wadge Bank. What has happened is a political controversy has erupted with respect to India giving away the territory of Kallakkadal to Sri Lanka. All right, in the year 1974. It was basically a barren and uninhabited island. Okay. Also, because in 1974 we recognized Sri Lanka's authority over this particular island, what Sri Lanka did was it recognized Wadge Bank as Indian territory in 1976. All right. Now this particular area of Wadge Bank, what do we know it for? It is rich in fishing. It is basically considered to be very important fishing ground for India. All right. In fact, the coastal region of Kerala and Tamil Nadu amounts to approximately 90% marine water fishing, and Wadge Bank is one of the important fishing grounds of India. That is why it is important. It is in news because of this controversy, because there have been allegations and counter allegations with respect to how Indian territory was given away to Sri Lanka. All right, and in the midst of it, the name of Wadge Bank has come up. Hence, it is important to be known. Hence, it is basically important to be known. So, let us now consider the concept behind this particular region, and also the concept behind a marine territory being good fishing ground. So, as we have looked into it, Wadge Bank is shallow area situated at the coast of Kanyakumari, India. Kanyakumari is in Tamil Nadu. All right. Now this area is known for its rich fishing ground, and it basically attracts fishermen. Okay. Now primary reason for the purpose of this area being a good fishing bank, there are two. First is it is a continental shelf. So what happens because of continental shelf? Sun rays reach the bottom, and because sun rays reach bottom of the ocean in this particular region, what do we see? We see plants, underwater plants, and also algae, which through photosynthesis grow. Now these plants and algae become food for fishes, herbivorous species, and this herbivorous species basically become food for carnivorous fishes, right? And that is why this is a good ground for fishing. Second reason basically is wherever water of two regions mix now, the temperature difference between water of two different water bodies, the temperature difference between water of two different bodies, what does it do? It creates a moderating effect. Moderating effect. And this moderating effect basically provides an impetus to growth of fishes in the area. Again, the reason here is because of the moderating effects, plants are better supported. Plants in the region are better supported, oceanic plants and algae, and these plants and algae give way to fishes. All right, lead to fishing being an important occupation in this region. All right. Now let us now look into the question. The question now states, consider the following statements regarding Wadge Bank. It is a fishing ground off the coast of Kanyakumari. Absolutely correct. Now, we have already looked into it. Statement 2. The rich fishing stock is due to it meeting ground of ocean currents from Palg Bay and Arabian Sea. देखो, it is known that the waters of Palg Bay and Arabian Sea meet in Wadge Bank. But it is not correct कि this leads to meeting of two ocean currents. More or less, Indian Ocean region or Indian Ocean as such only has one ocean current. And this ocean current moves according to winds of monsoon. So even if water between Palg Bay and Arabian Sea mixes, it is not, I repeat, due to meeting of ocean currents. So second statement is wrong. Second statement basically is wrong. So here, which of the following is correct with respect to the above statement? What do we say? Option D is the right option because statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Moving on to demographic dividend. Now what is demographic dividend? We will see that. But why is it in news? It is in news because World Bank has stated in its report that South Asia and mainly India, what will happen with respect to these two regions? India is part of South Asia, but what will happen with respect to India and South Asia? We will not be able to use our demographic dividend. All right, we will squander with respect to our demographic dividend. Why is it so? And what is demographic dividend? So demographic dividend basically is when demographic transition of a country takes place, and what we see basically with respect to demographic dividend is that the youth population of the country, that is population between the age of 15 to 59, working population, is in majority. So dependent population in a way is less. All right, and therefore economic activities are on rise. ठीक है. So demographic dividend basically is good for a country, but this demographic dividend can be realized. This demographic dividend can be basically realized if the country invest in education, skills, healthcare and job creation. ठीक है. Only then what will happen is the population will be productive. And if demographic dividend को harness नहीं किया गया, if demographic dividend basically is not harnessed by giving the youth of the country opportunities, what will happen is, देखो, youth of the country is the most vibrant section of the population, right? You have to provide them with something constructive. If that does not happen now, and if unemployment prevails amongst youth, what will happen is there will be social and political instability also. because youth are oriented towards economic activities, and if economic activities are not provided, what will happen is there will be instability, there will be crime and violence, and this crime and violence will be looked upon as economic activities in themselves. All right, many countries in Asia and Africa are currently in demographic dividend, or they are poised to be in demographic dividend, but opportunities, my dear friend, have to be provided to the youth. Investments have to be made in social sectors. Only then this demographic dividend can be of any use. वैसे once question has been asked on demographic dividend and economic survey of any year, if you take into consideration, it does mention, it does focuses on demographic dividend. Chalo, let us move to the question. Consider the following statements regarding demographic dividend. Demographic dividend refers to a period of accelerated economic growth resulting from favorable age distribution within the population. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Because the population, working population is more, what will happen is there will be acceleration in economic growth of the country. It occurs when proportion of working age population is relatively high compared to dependents. Again, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Third statement, demographic dividend is solely dependent on the size of working population and does not consider other socio-economic factors. Absolutely wrong. Okay. Other social economic factors are important. For example, education has to be there, skills have to be there, discrimination amongst youth has to be absent for demographic dividend to be used, so that youth energy could be used. All right, there has to be mechanism through which youth energy could be used. Just having youth is not just having youths in a country is not sufficient. All these factors will have to come into play. Okay, so third statement is wrong, hence our answer will be B. Only two statements are correct. Only two statements are correct. Moving on now to the next news, and it is related to heat wave, one of the favorite topics of UPSC when it comes to prelims. All right, IMD, that is Indian Meteorological Department, has predicted that India will experience heat waves in this summer, that is in the summer of 2024. Let us look at heat waves, what they are. So qualitatively, heat waves is a condition in which air temperature becomes fatal. All right, heat wave becomes fatal. Now this is talking about quality as such of heat wave. Quantitatively, it is defined based on temperature threshold. Dekho, what I am saying is, what basically these two definitions says, when you talk about the quality of heat wave, okay, the effect of heat wave, effect is that it is rise in air temperature which can be fatal for humans. All right, quantitatively, the amount of rise of temperature will differ, and what will be the basis of that difference? The basis of that difference is effect that will be caused. Now the effect will obviously differ in different geographies. For example, effect of rise of 2 degrees, for example, on plains will be more severe than rise of 2 degrees on hills. Okay, so there will be basically the difference will be same, 2 degrees centigrade, but the effect will be different. So quantitatively is just looking into difference. Qualitative change in heat waves or quality of heat wave will depend upon the effect that change in the temperature is producing depending upon the geography. All right, so if you take into consideration heat wave, so with respect to plains, heat waves basically is considered when the temperature reaches 40 degrees centigrade. All right. And with respect to hilly regions, now it is considered if the temperature reaches 30 degrees Celsius. If it reaches 30 degrees Celsius. What is the period of heat wave? When do heat waves happen in India? Mostly in the months of March to June, but sometimes also in July, but mostly in March to June. And the peak of heat waves, the period when heat wave is at its maximum, is in the month of May. ठीक है. For the purpose of measuring heat wave, what do? We take into consideration air temperature and relative humidity also. So taking into consideration these two factors, heat wave basically is measured. All right. Question with respect to heat wave. Let us look into it. Consider the following statements regarding heat wave. Heat wave is considered if maximum temperature of a station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius or more on plains, or at least 30 degrees Celsius for hilly regions. Now this statement obviously is correct. We have looked into it. Okay. The absence of moisture in upper atmosphere causes favorable conditions for heat wave. Again correct. It increases the productivity of rooftop panel. Nahi. In fact, because of heat wave, what will happen is there will be damage. Of rooftop panels. Okay. So how many statements are correct? B. Only two statements are correct. Moving on to the last news of the day, and this is with respect to contempt of court. All right. So Supreme Court has basically initiated contempt proceedings against Baba Ramdev. We don't have to get into the details of the case. Our focus should be on what is contempt of court. What basically is contempt of court? So contempt of court basically is an action that defies, disrespects or obstructs the authority or dignity of court. All right. Contempt of court, the power to punish for contempt is with Indian judiciary, and more specifically it is provided under Article 129 to the Supreme Court of India and under Article 215 to the High Courts in India. Okay. We also have a focused and specialized act with respect to contempt, and that is Contempt of Court Act 1971. All right. What does it do? It provides for detailed scenarios in which contempt proceedings may be started and punishments with respect to the proceedings. All right. This act distinguishes civil contempt from criminal contempt. All right. And it therefore also provides procedure for proceedings with respect to contempt of court. Okay. Civil contempt, if you look into what is civil contempt, definition is important, may be asked for examination. Civil contempt is willfully disobeying the orders of the court. While what is criminal contempt? Criminal contempt is considered to be more severe as such. Okay. Criminal contempt is when you try to undermine the authority or dignity of the court. All right. There is also a difference between direct contempt and indirect contempt. Again, something which is important from examination point of view. So direct contempt occurs in the presence of the court, and indirect contempt basically occurs outside the court. All right, outside the court. Punishment for contempt of court, it may be fine, it may be imprisonment, or it may be both. It may be either both. In some cases, what the courts have done is courts have awarded community service for contempt. All right, community service for contempt. So it will be either fine or imprisonment or even other measures at the discretion of the court. Let us look into the question with respect to contempt. Consider the following statement regarding contempt of court. The power of contempt for court is not provided in Indian Constitution. Absolutely wrong. It is provided. it is provided in the Indian Constitution. Though remember, Constitution does not define contempt. All right. Second statement, Contempt of Court Act 1971 defines and limits the power of certain courts in punishing for contempt and to regulate proceedings in relation thereto. Absolutely. देखो Contempt of Court 1971 ना, Contempt of Court 1971, what it does is it provides a detailed procedural backup or detailed procedural outline with respect to how the proceedings have to be carried out. And therefore, with respect to contempt, what it also does is it limits the powers of certain courts. There is nothing wrong in it. The information is absolutely correct of statement 2. All right. So now, which of the statements are correct? Which of the two statements are correct? And if there is any relation between the two, that we have to see. So obviously there is no relation between the two as such, cause and effect relation. And also statement 1 is wrong and statement 2 is correct. So therefore our answer will be C. Statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct. Okay. So that's all from me, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would request you to share this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are not the subscriber yet. If any problem, if you do face any problem with respect to current affairs or UPSC prelims preparation, do contact GS Core, will help you. Thank you so much. Bye.